welcome to Psychic Girls Next Door. You know me, Shannon, and then we have Lily here.
Hello, hello.
We're excited to talk about this like hot, spicy topic of AI and psychics. And
Ooh.
yes, I feel like it's so controversial because so many people are like, I feel like authentic tarot card readers are like, don't use ChatGPT for tarot meanings. I am guilty of definitely using it. I always find, I know that like there's so many bad things about using like AI and ChatGPT, especially for the environment. And then it does feel like sort of inauthentic, but I'm just like naturally a curious person about technology. I have my North Node in Aquarius, which is all about like technology and innovation. So I tend to be like, ooh, shiny and new, like attracted to that. But yeah, how do you feel about that, Lily? Where like with the use of AI and being somebody with psychic gifts, like how does that resonate with you?
It's, you know what, it's interesting is that it's been, of course, the most heavily talked topic, and at least in the last year or two, I feel like it's become a lot more ingrained in our day, even day-to-day lives. I mean, I also am gonna be honest, I do use ChatGPT.
I
And
love
I
it.
know ChatGPT, it's the most like popular one now, where people use it for everyday questions,
Yeah.
even decisions in their lives, which I find it kind of, I
It's like
worry about that.
right, pseudo therapy. Like people who can't afford therapy have been using it for like introspective questions.
Yes, and I do have friends that used ChatGPT as a kind of like as their therapy tool or even like spiritual tool as well. And I've had people that have come to me and said that, oh, I've used ChatGPT to ask about future things, future questions. Like, oh, I'm going on a date with this guy. What do you see? And I'm like,
Wait, really?
oh, yeah, like no kidding. I had like a friend of mine, and this was like maybe like, I think like last year. And I'm like, did you really
How
do
does that
this?
how does that even like work? That's
I
crazy.
know. Well, the thing is that, so, I mean, unless if you've been living under a rock, I'm pretty sure everyone has heard about ChatGPT and all these AI tools, is that it's not an entity. It is not conscious. It does not have awareness. So
Yeah.
basically, what it does, it picks up a lot of information from different sources, and it's just gonna like kind of like gather around your question. Of course, ChatGPT is gonna validate your
Right.
question. I mean, there's a prompt and it's going to respond to you. And most likely it will give you like, you know, a friendly, kind of supportive answer. And I can't remember what it said, but you know, it was kind of in the lines of that, of like, yes, you're going to have a great time, blah, blah, blah. So then I asked her later, I was like, well, how was the date? And she's like, it just didn't work. It wasn't vibing. I'm like, well, that's what you get from like asking
Yeah.
AI. And for me, I think for a psychic, a true psychic, your AI tool is your intuition.
Yeah, it's true. It's like I feel like your intuition is always going to be a lot stronger than an AI tool because I actually asked ChatGPT this question, like, what is the difference? Or I just said AI and psychics, and then it came up with like, yeah, I love how it's like where technology meets intuition, which is so funny. And so like people, it says like people often think that there's a link between AI and psychics because both feel like they know things, quote unquote, before you do, but they arrive to that like consensus in different ways. Like how psychics work, it's through intuition or extrasensory perception, pattern sensing through emotion, symbolism, and energy, tools like tarot, astrology, mediumship, of course, to like focus on intuition. And then so like the information is like subjective, symbolic, or interpretive. It's less about certainty, more about like meaning and like something that you like might need to feel or go through or learn. Or like AI, they're analyzing a huge, it doesn't like sense or intuit or channel. So when you're looking at the AI, and I work in AI, I'm not like an engineer or anything like that, but I work for executives who have designed these types of frameworks from or data sets essentially. And so it analyzes a huge volume of past data. So we're like talking about past time where like intuitive stuff can pick up on maybe potentially future patterning or based on like current patterns. And like maybe the AI, because you are the common duality between the two is like looking at patterns, right? Or like seeing somebody's patterns, whether that's like past or present or future. And so the AI focuses on the past, or like mediums and psychics might be able to see what could potentially happen in the future. So it's very it might feel kind of similar, but the nuances between the two is think of it as a timeline. Like the AI is looking at a data set that has happened already, where psychics are looking at potentially depending the question you ask, something that could potentially happen, potential outcome, if that's the type of question you're asking.
Yeah, well, you always have to remember that AI is a tool, and it's an analytical tool.
Yeah.
So it will, and also, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not also, an engineer or an AI specialist, but it also picks up on your own history, browsing history.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In your online activity. I just this is just my 2 cents of what it probably has already a sense of, the things that you gravitate towards, your likes, your purchases, and all this stuff. And it just compiles everything into probably something that you will probably want to hear, right?
Yeah,
something that feels validating or supporting.
It's a probability.
But it's very much
probably.
But you have to think that it's AI is generated by you, so it's your prompt, and it kind of feeds off of that. Whereas as a psychic, we're just looking, when we tap into someone's energy, you're just you tap into the overall energetic field, and it's just as a psychic, I'm not just going to be there just saying things that you want to hear.
Yeah.
I am going to we receive information, and then my job is to ask if it's appropriate or not to share that, whatever it is that I see. And then based on that, I'm going to relay that information depending on what is that who the reader wants to know. And if it feels like it's something that is really going to help them, whether receive healing or move forward or whatever that feels like they need at the time. And that's where it's the human touch, that's where it when it comes through. It's my ability to tap and have this intuitive, whether it be touch or just creating an environment that I am not probing into their information. I'm just kind of using that as something for them to find healing within themselves. And whereas I feel with a tool like ChatGPT, for me, for a while, I felt almost like an upgraded version of Google.
It's a great search.
It's to me it's a great tool. I'm not gonna lie. I think whenever I need a recipe, right? I'm oh, I want to bake something. I go both Google and ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And it will give me a lot of different ideas and prompts. But I think ChatGPT is a little more detailed. It's a lot more comprehensive. And but I kind of also want to mention too, just kind of deviating a little from what we're talking. There's a friend of mine that I think it was maybe a year ago. I think it's called a plugin. Correct me if I'm wrong. That it's based a lot on consciousness and spirituality.
Oh, cool.
And don't remember the name now. I have to kind of go through my phone and see if I can find. I don't know if this thing still exists. So what she will say is that she will put write a prompt and ask oh, what is consciousness? And and this thing, I'm going to call this thing, quote unquote, it would just respond. And then she started asking about her own personal things. Relationship with her dad. And then what she was saying was that she's oh my God, ChatGPT was so on point. this plugin apparently, and it told me a lot of things that I never told anyone. And I kind of like, I took that with a grain of salt.
Hmm.
Like, and then she was like really surprised, and she's like almost treating it as like as a therapist slash psychic in a way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you really should just be cautious, because as much as it's giving you information, you're also giving your information by say, oh my gosh, that is so true.
It's mirroring back, and
Yeah,
by you validating the AI, it's gonna take that and run with it. And because
yeah,
it's looking for like essentially like the external, it's looking for validation from you as much as you're looking for validation from it. And you're seeking validation from in a different way, right? Like you're seeking it on a spiritual, like, am I living my life correctly? Or like, does this feel right? Is this correct? But you're still seeking that external validation. And that's where it gets a little scary.
yeah.
Like,
I
yeah,
do find it kind of scary sometimes when people are using it as their only source of information, and they make decisions based on that instead of trusting their own information.
right,
And I've
right.
been there too. I've been
Oh,
the type of
totally.
person. Yeah, I think we've all been there where and I think us as psychics, we also get questions like, oh, please tell me.
Right. When
Please.
I'm like too lazy to do the inner work of figuring out the answer within myself, I will for sure pull up ChatGPT and be like, what do you think about this weird situation that happened to me? Or if I feel like, I need like a second opinion, quote unquote, but I don't want to talk about it with my friends because I know on a subconscious and conscious level that I shouldn't even be talking about this, or like, not in a should or shouldn't way, but like, I already know the information myself. I'm avoiding accepting it. So I'm seeking a different answer. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I can see how it would probably give you maybe a different perspective
yeah,
on things. And I can see how if you know how to use it, especially I guess like for business purposes too, it's a very
yeah.
helpful tool. You can create prompts, and it can have, I even like, I use it for our own podcast.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
right, like our social media, please give me ideas for social media
Yeah,
content that's
yeah.
related to blah, blah, blah. And it gives you like a lot of great ideas that you can kind of run with it.
It's like an idea generator. I mean, it's great for creating content. It's great for business. There's so many good positive things about it. Like there is like, I don't know enough about like the AI farms, but I know it's like terrible for the environment. So I just want to call that out. But like I'm not educated enough in that space, but like a few of my friends are becoming more and more educated. And so they're boycotting using like AI and like Chat GPT, which is like honestly, like at this point, ChatGPT is so embedded in everyone's lives, everyone's workflows. Like my company has a business account like for ChatGPT. It's like it's just become a thing where people are relying on it so that it simplifies thinking. I know that's like terrible, but like people are like, I don't even have time to think about it. And like I don't even
Yeah.
have, so they
Well,
go to ChatGPT and it's become a pattern. And it's like this tool that is all about pattern recognition is picking up on your patterns. And if your pattern is, maybe it's like, ask yourself, like, when you are seeking answers, are you seeking ChatGPT and looking externally, or, whatever AI tool, or are you able to stop and look within yourself and search inside of yourself? I know like Google actually does like a workshop called Search Inside of Yourself, and then meditation it's all based on like mindfulness practice and like asking yourself, and that was all about the psychic horizon way of like asking yourself these questions. And I think like when people are avoiding the answer, or they already know the answer but they want a different outcome, they want a different answer.
yeah. Or a lot of people, they don't trust themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
They don't
that's such a thing too.
they don't trust their own information, or they override that and they think, oh, it's just silly me, or
Right, it's
just
like
my anxiety talking. So they excuse that information.
yeah.
And well, there is a lot of talk about AI also taking over people's jobs, and so a lot of jobs that are already being eliminated because it can be done by AI. And so there's a lot of talk about that
Yeah.
there's only gonna be like this AI robot. So people are pretty dramatic, I think. I mean, I don't know if there'll ever be a reality or become a reality. And I mean, it is part of our lives. There's no denying into that. I think that if it is used in a way where it can bring a lot of benefit, and I've seen it like especially in the medical industry,
Oh, yeah.
it brings improvement. It brings a lot of different solutions to problems that we haven't resolved it or found a solution yet. And
Yeah.
that is a great use of this tool.
Totally. My Aunt Terry, I saw her yesterday. She's getting knee surgery like in 2 weeks, and it's going to be done by a robot.
Wow.
And it's like outpatient. It's not outpatient, but it's like the little robot goes in, and like you have a doctor supervising the robot. But
Right.
I don't know how involved the doctor actually is in terms of like the physical labor of like fixing the kneecap or whatever.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are cases like and that's what evolution brings, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
where we are, and that's where
Well, we're in the
con-
technology revolution right now, and like,
technology, yes. And this is all things we're still learning, and we're still growing with it and evolving. I think this new generation as well also will be a lot more knowledgeable in this. They will grow up with it. They will probably find ways to kind of work around with all these tools. And I don't know if a lot of people see this in a very negative way, that's going to be bad. But there are a lot of things that robots cannot do that humans do.
right.
And that's like, it's a fact.
I mean, I would say love.
Yeah, there's no, I mean, and again, it doesn't have emotions. Like, for example, I work with childcare during the day.
Right. Right.
No
Yeah.
robot is going to do that. Like, there's
Provide, like affection and attention.
care and, and everything that you need to take care of a child. There's no tool or robot that could ever do that.
Right. Like kids need attention, affection, like, a physical supervision, and a robot's not going to be able to replace that.
No, not at all. And I think because all of this has been so like in our faces and just so present, I also see it, I don't know, maybe it's like the energy of this year too. What I see, it's like a lot of it, and I can speak from my own experience, it's like pulling away from all this technology. And I've been trying, and the word is trying, make a very conscious choice of not spending a lot of time on my phone.
I love that.
And I'm gonna be very honest, it's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard because it's almost like it's an extension from our arms. Like it's within reach. And it's like the first reaction that you have, whatever you are, you're sitting down, the first thing you're going to do, you're going to scroll, right?
Yeah.
You're in line, you're at the groceries, like whatever.
Yeah.
It is an addiction, right? It becomes habitual. So what I've been doing is like, I would just either put it on do not disturb for like a good hour. And intentionally, I will not touch my phone. Unless if it's just to check if there's a message, right? Like someone texted me. And again, and sometimes like I'll just catch myself, gosh, like I just spent like 3 hours scrolling.
I know.
And then I'll look at the clock and it's, what happened?
Yeah. If only Uber or like a ride share could go on a manual phone. Like I see people getting flip phones again, and like it's like the Gen Z way, like in a nostalgic way, or like Gen Alpha or like the late Gen Alphas, and who have phones. And I think that's like, it's like bringing back the time where we just needed a phone in case we got like a flat tire on the side of the road. Like, and then that's like what I would ideally use a phone for. But I always catch myself going to Instagram and TikTok. TikTok was different thing but like especially Instagram because it doesn't require noise. So if I don't have my headphones, like I can still automatically pull up Instagram. But my hypnotherapist, Shayna, I'm in a hypnotherapy program called Magnetic Queen, and it's been really, really great the past couple weeks, especially. And we met 3 times. We usually meet like once a week for coaching, and then once a month for like a hypnotherapy group session. And we have like the asynchronous chat. And so she had told me, put your phone on grayscale. So if you put your phone, so like right now it's color in color. I lasted 2 days because I felt nothing. Like, and I realized like, oh, that's how addicted our brains are. But if you go to accessibility in your settings, and then you go to display and text, and then you scroll down to color filters, right now they're off. So you like get to this point, and then I had it on red, and red will like simulate like nighttime. But if you put it on grayscale, like I'm gonna pull up Instagram right now, and does that give you dopamine? No.
Well, no, because it's not stimulating.
Yeah, I love this person, May like the month. She's great for like astrology.
Yeah.
But
Well,
like,
and again, there's two sides of it. There are parts of it that I love. There's the aspects of being connected to people at some level.
right.
But I think because we're so bombarded with all these technology tools and social media and all of that, kind of like trying to keep up with all of that,
Yeah.
it's the human body is not designed
No,
to receive all this information and this blue light like right on our faces.
totally. I go into overload, like
Yeah.
overstimulated, like crispy. And I think burnout is such a thing. I mean, everyone's experiencing burnout. Burnout's been a hot topic in the workplace, but I think people are like kind of burnt out on life and like,
Well, yeah,
burnt out.
because it's this overload of information, and at
Your
the end of the
retinas.
day,
Yeah.
exactly, you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And if you don't find ways to de-stress or recharge, you're just gonna carry that with you.
Totally. And like, even I find like from it's interesting. I had like a 2 days of the grayscale. I just turned it back on because I'm like, oh yeah, I need like, I still see my cute cats, but like I had Lisa Frankify them. Speaking of ChatGPT, like there was a prompt of like Lisa Frankify, but you have to do like do a Lisa Frank style illustration and then you add a photo. And so I did my cats, but like then they caught on to me. You can't do too many or else there's going to be like a legal like, thing because it's like copyright infringement. So like Lisa Frank's cracking down, but just like the grayscale has helped. And I noticed for those 2 days that I didn't have the desire to go on my phone in like a dopamine seeking way. I still went on it in like my body's so used to opening up the app. Like it's like it's a pattern.
And it's all of us. It's almost on a subconscious level. It doesn't matter where you are. You're always going to see people you're hunched over and you're like, and you just like scrolling and just kind of navigating through all these different apps and opening like probably the same apps over and over.
Yeah.
And it's an addiction in a way.
Totally.
It just becomes a pattern.
Yeah. And it's like people need, like, I think it's like, these tech executives and like even goes beyond that. And this is getting a little conspiratorial, but like everything relates back to capitalism because like Instagram has become like a market basically for ads. And then same with TikTok shop, like that's a way for people to make money and sell. And like, I think it's great for people who have disabilities and can't work from or differently abled, excuse my language, but who can't work from a traditional place where so they do the affiliated marketing thing and they make money. And I think there's been so many cool opportunities created for that for like the human being who typically can't go with like the traditional 9 to 5, or maybe they live out in a rural area. So I'm not discrediting that at all, but it's like the consumerism, like the addiction of buying and then also seeing what other people have. And it's like that it taps into like that external validation and like,
and it becomes almost like your compass for day to day. And it becomes the fix. You need to have some of that. You need to have either the hit of dopamine whatever it is that you use, your
Keeping
phone
up with
and
other people.
social
Like,
media, maybe you use it, I don't know, because you need promote yourself and need to seek validation from others,
right,
whatever it
right,
is.
right. It's an
You know.
external hit of something. It's getting like some type of validation in some external way.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So, yeah, and I think people are kind of starting to realize that more and more. And I love that we are starting to become more aware that we, as humans, we crave human connection.
oh, absolutely
And this
nothing.
is what we're wired for. And this is
Yeah,
what our souls, they came, is to experience the human connection and be human here and
yeah, like
have this physical body. And
totally.
therefore, we need human experiences,
Yeah. Like
you know?
sharing a laugh with someone over something you both find funny is
Yeah.
like, you can't
Cre-
replace that feeling.
exactly. Like creating your community of people,
Yeah.
having experiences, interactions where you don't need your phone.
Oh, what a world it would be if we didn't
It
need
would
our
be kind of
phone.
like, but this is kind of how we lived back like in the 80s and 90s.
I know, I know.
I know. I mean, these were different times, and
More people got murdered, but
I
I
mean,
will say
they did, but we kind
that
of like,
we know of, that
but
we
then we
know of.
didn't have a lot of resources, right? Like around like things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But it was just like a different time. And I know that like on social media, I see like these trends of like comparing 2026 to 2016. People
Oh
are
my
like
God.
posting like the before and after. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I mean, I think it's good to like kind of reminisce
Yeah,
like parts.
nostalgic for
Yeah.
26.
I, I kind of, there,
Start of it all.
there's part of me that cringes, but I think it's kind of the positive aspect of it is that you can see how far you've come,
Yeah.
how much you've learned, how much you've grown. Like, I am not going to
Yeah.
be posting my 2016 pictures because yikes.
It's like the end of the business casual going out in the club type of vibe.
Yeah, it's
But
it was a time. But
yeah,
again, like, and people like, oh, I wish 2016 would come back. And I'm like, no, you don't want that. I
no, no, no.
mean,
Maybe 2012,
yeah,
2013. Like
I
let's talk about pre
yeah.
possibly.
Well, I feel it's great to look at your past as a source of information
Yeah.
and just to kind of help you move forward with life,
Reflection
but
for
not
both.
be like the deciding factor of all in all, and just
No.
acknowledge like, if this is all the lessons I've learned, how much I've grown, and just look at how,
Yeah. Yeah.
how much you've
Not
evolved as a person. But
yeah.
I find it like really interesting, like how people are just very nostalgic of the old times. And then when we didn't
Totally.
have all these tools, well, I think it's about like finding the balance between using those tools in a more grounded way,
Yeah.
but also
Trust
making
yourself.
an intentional movement to reconnect with what really matters in life,
Yeah.
with your day-to-day connection, people in your life, and creating experiences that promote more of that instead of me just like complaining about it, right?
Kids can be like, it's a both ander, and it's like, well, AI's here. It's like,
Yeah, there's no denying to that.
yeah,
And please don't use that as a psychic tool. If you get anything from this conversation, please
yeah,
don't use that to make
both
like
and.
life decisions that
No, don't trust. It's like, remember to trust yourself, and like, if you are one of those people that needs that sense of external validation, maybe this is a sign of like, if you're resonating with that piece of it, like maybe this is what you needed to hear and take from it. Like, you don't need that external validation. Just
yeah,
listen to yourself.
you have that information within yourself. And I hope this episode was helpful and fun. And share with us what you think of all these AI tools and all this technology around us. But we'll see you on our next episode. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.